by Minamikawa, who you might know from as he's younger, so not as many credits. So he's got some episodes on Arg Volin, he's got some episodes on Valvrade, as well as storyboards on those. But more recently, he's been the full capital D director on Fire Force, that's season 2, or Wave, Listen to Me, which is about the late night talk radio scene in Sapporo. I really liked that one, actually.
I'm
But
just mildly amused that he also did Code Geass. It means the best looking tomato and the best looking pizza in animation history both come from him.
I don't know, Food Wars. Food Wars, Restaurant to Another World also has a very good pizza episode.
No, that Pizza Hut pizza. I bought some Pizza Hut pizza before. I've never seen cheese like that. I'm just saying.
No, that's clearly the cheese. That's part of the alternate timeline, is that Pizza Hut uses better cheese.
I guess. False advertising. Damn.
Yeah, it is upsetting to say the least. So, this episode opens at the end of our last episode. This time we're getting a bit more perspective from the vague and all-powerful student council on their perspective on the end of the duel. At which point, the cops show up. They impound the Gundam, put Suletta in jail, space jail, school jail. It's not clear. We are then introduced to a bunch of side characters. We've got Nika, the blue-haired girl from last episode who helped out. She's dealing with the fact she has two friends, Choo-Choo and the other one, who are dealing with, anti-spacism. They're dealing with spacism. We are also introduced to a few of Guel's younger brother and his two cronies. I don't know if they show up, do anything particularly interesting. Mirin, we find out, did have an escape plan beyond just drift in space. She had someone who was going to pick her up. The person who was going to pick her up asked why she was not, at the pickup point in space. There is a moment where she has another opportunity to escape to Earth, and it turns out she doesn't. She instead decides to intervene in court, school court, corporate court. It's unclear what jurisdiction this court has, as Lady Prospera, who is totally not Suletta's mom, totally not, is defending the fact that the Ariel is totally not a Gundam, despite being very much a Gundam. And Delling is onto her bullshit but can't prove it, at which point Mirin cusses him out and says, "No, we're gonna make you play by your dumb rules. Duels are on forever," and yeah, that's kind of it. That's the big strokes, I think.
A lot of world building this episode, which I appreciate. You got to get the basis down of what's going on. I thought it was interesting. The very first thing our girl said is, after all the controversy last week of all this Yuri, lesbian, all this nonsense, the first thing she says is, "Okay, chill, relax. I don't really want to marry you. I just want to go to Earth. That's all I want." Which is interesting, because usually it's the other way around in Gundam. I just want to get off Earth and go to space. That's all I want to do.
Well, I mean, I think it's very often where people are is not where they want to be.
Fair enough. The grass is always greener on Earth or in space.
Space grass.
Yeah, space grass. Colony grass. That didn't sound right. Anyway.
That's a different thing. That's a different thing.
Yeah.
That's maybe a Cowboy Bebop episode.
The grass leads to space. Anyway, moving on. But yeah, the opening is super happy and cheery. I don't particularly care for it all that much.
It's very it's almost textbook J-pop.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
and this is the guy who liked the Seed and Destiny stuff. That was like J-pop to the nines. But I was like, okay, this is just a little bit much. But at the same time, I think this is really laying into this is super cutesy, this is super cutesy, this is so sweet, so adorable, and the rug is going to get pulled out from under us hard at some point.
Yeah.
And you can start seeing them build that more here. Other things they said, Gundam, that colony is so screwed.
Oh, something
I
bad gonna
mean, it
happen.
is. The more that you keep seeing more and more of how pretty it is, I'm like, oh, everyone here is just doomed.
Just
I
gonna
mean,
get wrecked.
I'm just gonna start writing down a list of who I think will actually survive this.
I could see a lot surviving, but we'll see how intact they are, right?
I'm just saying, there's a lot of Star Trek red shirts walking around Mecha Hogwarts. Okay.
Yeah, there's a few. There's a couple
Hey,
Cedrics kicking around.
yeah, there's a couple of people in the background. Hey, I don't think I remember your name. I don't think I'm supposed to.
Yeah. No.
What else
So
did she say? It says her name is Ariel, so at least in terms of the pilot, the Gundam is female. Whether that
well,
means anything, we'll see.
again, we did have the short fiction that introduced the possibility of this being a full AI. Also, you know, Ariel was definitely a character who had lines and emotions and agency in the play The Tempest. I don't know if that matters this week. We'll see. We'll see.
Or a mermaid that wishes to walk on land.
I'm just saying, The Tempest also features someone named Prospero who wants revenge.
Oh, I
There's,
didn't think of that.
yeah.
Oh, I
So,
didn't think.
okay,
You're right.
I'll stop being coy. If you have not seen or read The Tempest by William Shakespeare, Prospero is an assumed name from the Duke of Milan, who is stuck on an island after being ousted by the King of Naples. He arranges for the King of Naples' son to crash on said island, along with a few friends, and then arranges for this Prince of Naples to be engaged to his daughter, Miranda, with the help of Ariel, who is a fairy type thing, and Caliban, who is an unfortunate stereotype of native peoples.
Hmm.
It ends
Waiting
pretty
for
well.
Caliban Gundam.
It's a comedy, but it's like late Shakespeare, so like most of it is
That
Prospero.
that is good stuff. No,
Well, Prospero
I
is a bit of an author mouthpiece about authorship.
yeah. Oh, I didn't. I never read that one. I've read some of Shakespeare stuff, not that one, but yeah, his later stuff starts. You can tell he peaked early, but let's just say that. But
Yeah. I
no, I
mean,
didn't. You're right.
it.
I didn't catch Prospero. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Also, if you don't feel like, I know there's a BBC TV version that's streaming on a lot of places, or you could watch Forbidden Planet, which has Leslie Nielsen not being funny.
Which is never fun.
It was before
Uh,
people knew he could be funny.
in a weird, dry humor sense of way that works perfectly.
Yeah.
Basically, anyone who's, I'm wondering, they call, are you a witch? Like, straight up, like, they're asking, are you a witch? Are you a witch? I think witch is just a universal term for Gundam pilot.
Probably, but also it's like literally we're having a witch trial, just in the
Yeah,
we're
quite
stopping
literally.
everything to have a witch trial, and like a lot of witch trials, it's not fair. Although Delling's right in this case. It's like no, that's a Gundam. You can show me graphs that say not Gundam, but I know me a Gundam.
Right. Well, he's like, she goes, technically you can't prove it's a Gundam. He's like, okay, just shut up. It's a Gundam. What? How can you prove it? I can prove it because I say it's a Gundam. Shut the hell up. But I thought it
uh,
was interesting, jumping ahead to him. She's like very, very interested in having this thing duel. Like, let it duel this, let it duel that. She's smiling, literally. Cheshire cat smile, or shit-eating grin if you prefer. Smile like it. Yes, let's see. I am 100% convinced she sent this one out as the test bed. Like, okay, I'm pretty sure this thing can kick anything's butt they've got in the fleet. But let's find out.
well,
And it took that first suit apart because I have a feeling that is not top of the line. You're not going to give a top of the line mobile suit to a student.
there's that. There's also the fact that he's cocky and was not expecting that kind of attack. So it clearing up
True, but
clearing up that fact clearing him that fast might be Guel's fault.
keeping my Hogwarts thing, fine. Even your top level students at Hogwarts didn't get to play with the top level spells.
That's
It's like,
true.
no, you don't get to play with these. Only grown ups get to play with these.
Fair enough. That's why we're gonna get Blender thing next in an episode or two.
That's red and 3 times faster, yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, if she's sending this thing out as a test bed, that means she's got a fleet of them hidden somewhere on Mercury, ready to whoop, kick ass and take names.
She's got something ready for the platform, ready to go. Something I think I like, something that I'm liking. Again, this is internal politicking building up, but so if the Mercury Company is 151st in the conglomerate's metrics, and we see what happens to the guy who's 6th place, that says something. But I also get the feeling that everyone in that courtroom is kind of sick of dealing shit, and it might be like again, Zim was ready to murder him last episode, so the other top guys in the top 3 might be willing to back a crazy play by some witch to oust Delling.
Well, call it whether it was fake ethics or real ethics, the Gundams were banned for ethical reasons. Like, no, these things killed our pilots. We can't let these things exist. We can't play these games. At the same time, now they're going forward like, yeah, these things are dangerous and kill their pilots, but man, we can make a crap ton of money.
But what about shareholder value? Have we considered that?
It kills the pilots, but the value.
But the shareholders don't have to fly them, right?
Right. So,
Sure.
so you're saying that as a stockholder, I would be fine? Yes. And some poor schmuck in the pilot seat would die. Okay.
Yeah. You know, would you push a button that gave you $1 billion if someone had to die for it?
No.
That's what some people do that more often than you think. So something about, I think, Mirin cussing out her dad on the courtroom floor that is nice is that in Gundam, adults are wrong. Adults are wrong in Gundam. And that was something that
most of the time
Divers was missing. There were not enough adults who were wrong. So seeing this back in Gundam, I was happy to see that. I was glad to see that.
I think that's enough of the hard stuff. Although we got one more hard stuff coming next episode. It's like, okay, she goes and busts her friend out of jail. It's like, okay, duel, you, me, against my dad, or most likely a champion of his choosing. Said, if you win, you and your Gundams, you stay in the school. Gundam doesn't get trashed. You lose, you're kicked out. Gundam's compacted. And she's like, what happened? Remember, she's been sitting in that cell for the past 2 weeks, just eating her box lunch, probably cold box lunch.
Did not seem like a great lunch.
No. Plus, her couch is on the wall, and everything is zero gravity. Can you imagine trying to eat a lunch in zero gravity? Just saying.
This
Anyway.
is why all Gundam shows embrace sandwiches, because they are the most zero gravity friendly food.
Yeah, and everything has to become in a straw or a pouch with a straw. Like, you want beef Wellington? It's coming in that package. Enjoy. What else? Did that bitch spit on her food?
Spat her gum out. It was her gum in the middle of the rice. Like, you were done, right?
That bitch. I mean, that bitch.
Yeah, no.
She just didn't even get. She didn't even get angry. She barely bats an eye. She's like, I'm gonna throw it away anyway. And her friends are like, did what?
Yeah.
So apparently there's, back in most Gundam series, the Earth is extremely racist to the people who live in space. They may have flipped that on its head this time. Maybe it's the people in space are rich, and if you're poor and of lower class, you're stuck on Earth.
Yeah.
Which makes me wonder why that girl wants to get there so bad, but I digress.
That is a thing we have to learn as to who wants to be where and why you would want to be there.
I really felt sorry for our main character. She looks so terrified. I mean, just
Well,
utterly terrified. She's think about it. She's like this is her first experience, like
she
literally
did
within
not
days.
get through a whole day of school without getting busted by the space cops and having to deal with,
Right.
you know, Mr. Law and Order SVU there.
Yeah, and they shove her in a floating box, and she's wearing just a dress, and they send her, poorly prepared lunch boxes and crap, and her couch is on the wall. I mean, God, they could get old. Uh,
It's a pretty wild
you
week.
wanna, yeah, it's a rough week for someone who spent most of her life in the backwoods of Mercury.
Yeah.
Uh, time to get to the silly stuff. Don't touch the tomatoes.
I will cut you.
Do not touch them. Now, to be fair, after I saw those tomatoes last week, yeah, I'd guard those things with my life too. But I have zero doubt if someone touched her tomatoes, she would beat the snot out of them. So she may not be very good in a Gundam suit or a mobile suit, but I'm fairly sure she could whoop someone's butt in a fist fight.
Look, she's got a pair of garden shears, and she's just gonna stick, and she's gonna twist, and she's gonna twist a different way,
And then she's going to close them.
and then she's gonna pinch.
She'll make you... Anyway, no.
She cut you so bad, you wish she not cut you so bad.
Yeah. That one girl from the Boondocks has apparently transferred shows, and now she's in Gundam. Because they both got that Mickey Mouse hair up here, you know.
Yeah,
Like that's going to require either a lot of scrunchies or a lot of hairspray or both.
like this hair can only exist in 0G. Is what
Yeah, I
I'm
was going
gonna
to say. Well, I was about to say, well, you got to have so much hairspray. Wait a minute, they're in 0G. You know, if you get enough scrunchies, maybe it just works on its own. I don't know.
Maybe just a little mousse, couple of hair ties, and that's just how it goes.
Yeah.
We get
Loosen up at night, strap yourself in, you wake up, you're good.
we get again. I want to point out that the soundtrack's really great. Like there's just like reintroducing Nika, and there's just this little funky guitar track going on. I'm like I was jamming. I was jamming for that.
I enjoyed this. Like I said, I didn't like the opening OP, but everything else is great. Two other interesting things I saw before I forget to say them. Even in the future, even all the way we are in space, we have satellites, we have colonies, we have all this amazing technology, and even then, people sit on the crapper and play on their phones.
I appreciate how I like that the phone game was very much a phone game. It's like no,
Yeah.
the future will not. The future is not going to get any better than Candy Crush. Phone games.
We have reached the peak of mobile games. It just doesn't get any better at this point, which is sad.
Yeah, no, that's it. We
And
did
I
get
am
an end
100%
theme.
convinced.
Go.
Go ahead. I am 100% convinced.
Go.
I am 100% convinced that they are still having Raid Shadow Legends commercials in before every single video game.
Oh, have you heard about Final Fantasy 14 now free to play through level 60, including the
Oh, no.
award-winning Shadow Sword expansion?
Oh my goodness! Well, there goes our shot for getting Raid Shadow Legends as a sponsor.
Look, I'm starting to talk to sponsors. We'll see how that goes. Until those deals close, though, just tell a friend. Tell a friend you're enjoying the stream. Like, comment, and subscribe. We did get a new end theme. It's also very J-pop. I don't have a ton to say.
I didn't mind the end one as much. I don't have no good reason why. It's like I didn't like the first one. The end was okay.
Yeah.
But before we get done, Lady Prospera. First off, I don't care for the helmet. It looks like somebody took a hubcap and stuck two of them together. But at the same time, it's like, Oh, come on, even by Char standards, everybody knows who that is. And she is smiling and enjoying this and drinking this in because this is a plan she has been waiting for a very long time.
Oh, this is just a party. This is just a party.
This is step one of a 20-step plan or a 20-step chessboard, and she knows she's beat everybody already. And the way she takes off her arm and flings it at that one guy. Oh, you want to know what I have sacrificed? Chunk. Here, catch. Mercury sucks. Come try living there for a while. Which makes me beg the question. I was wondering this as I watched the show. The first and the epilogue episode, they hint that everyone in space has to go by the gun system. Does that not apply to everyone else now, or is it just those initial people?
We're seeing that there is a minimum amount of permit that the tech seems to need to run. Permit, we also find out, is a mineral, not just a software system or a software jargon. We'll see if that matters to anything. But I don't believe that we have a clear explanation as to why some people why our Dr. Kato was so convinced that no, we needed cybernetics to be in space. And I mean, Delling looked. I mean, we do have Shadiq's dad with the nose tube, and maybe that's like an adaptation for something. Maybe he's got a bit of the space. Maybe he's got a bit of the space cancer. I don't know.
Well, maybe it's a case of closer you are to Earth, or the better position you have in space, the better things are. And if you're stuck way out in Venus, or I remember, for all the faults it had, G-Reco had those people that came from Venus, and when they took off all their tech and you saw what was left of them, like, oh my God. and then you see, and maybe that's the same thing that's happening out near Mercury. Like, if you're out near Mercury, you're going to become a mostly cyborg.
Yeah. This might be a question of, yeah, there's nice parts of space and not so nice parts of space, and we need to build a better person to live in the not so nice parts. But I think I am intrigued to see. Next episode is called Duels Pride, which leads me to believe that we got a rematch going. But we also have the red thing with the blender.
Yes, the red suit that is 3 times faster that ripped off the F-91's blender thing. Although those look to be on their arms as opposed to wrists, but whatever.
We'll see what happens with that. I did not see any Haros this episode, so I was sad. There were no Haros.
Wasn't there one Haro that helped deliver the lunch?
Was there a lunch Haro? Maybe there was a lunch Haro.
I think there was a lunch Haro. I think there was one lunch Haro that was hanging out with her. And that was the only person she got to talk to.
I also want to say,
if Saji Crossroads has tossed us anything, it's like, that's better than nothing.
Yep. I also want to say that the dome heads the dome-headed mobile suits we've seen in the training grounds. We've also seen the Space Cop version. I like the dome head guys. That they're a good stupid grunt thing. I like them.
Yes, and they are going to be the red shirt, Star Trek red shirt of mechas.
Wow. So, I don't know if they're going full Leo, but we could be there.
Yeah, you're not quite the beam shovel guy from Age, but you're about one step above that.
Yeah, one step above shovel guy. So if that is all from you, I think that's all from me. Wait, no, we have one more controversy. I forgot. So, our controversy of the week is that a producer at Sunrise was giving a tour to a social studies class, like a social studies field trip from high school students. And the
Why
kids
was
said,
I never on these trips?
I think it's because you don't live in Kyoto. I think that's all.
Crap.
Yeah. But as part of the trip, he showed off where they were working on the Witch from Mercury. And at which point all the teens said, Gundam is for olds. Now, Jeff, we're olds. We like Gundam, but are the kids right? Are we out of touch?
This actually works perfectly today. Little known fact is I work in a school. Today, a first grader was sitting there munching on a carrot, literally. And I walk up and go, "Hey, what's up, Doc?" And she looks at me and has no idea what that means. And I died a little inside. Sucks getting old.
Yep.
How do you not get "what's up, Doc" when you're eating a carrot?
Look, we television has fractured so much that there's no need for anyone to air old Warner Brothers cartoons just to fill time. There's so much TV you don't need it, and it's upsetting. And you know who I blame? The parents. The parents for not really inculcating a proper understanding of the classics. I mean, if they don't watch Bugs Bunny, where are they going to learn about opera?
Yeah, this is well said. The worst part is, I said, "Well, you never heard of Bugs Bunny?" And they go, "Oh, from Space Jam," and I almost threw up.
And that'd be the new Space Jam with LeBron.
I don't know, and I don't care. Most likely, because they weren't alive when the other one came out. This is first grade.
Yep.
What is happening to our youth today?
I think... No, I think it is the children who are wrong.
Yes.
All right. So with that, I will say, if you've watched, thank you. Leave a comment, hit the like, ring the bell. We'll be doing this next week. Check out the audio version, and I will also mention that I am once again doing Extra Life for Kids. So this is my 12th year doing it. It's a charity video game marathon. If you back me, money goes to Sick Kids Hospital in Toronto, and I will be up all night playing video games, and you know I'm doing something painful for the children. It feels good all around.
We are not having the desert bus argument again, Scott. We're not doing it.
I do not play the desert bus. That is a different event.
We have had this argument for over a decade now.
It's a different event.
Only people who listen to the other podcast get that reference, but I don't care.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. But until next time, have a good one.
Adios, muchachos.